is it that missionaries burn out? Maybe you are a missionary. Maybe you've been there. Maybe you've been burned out. I have. But why does it happen? Hello friends, welcome back to MissionViewfinder. Today, I want to take some time to just share with you some of the things that have come to my awareness as being causes of burnout in mission work. This is by no means a complete list, and this is not intended to be like the video about mission burnout, but I hope it will be helpful to you, maybe for your own personal experience, but maybe also to help understand better those friends that you have in the mission field, or to prepare you for the day that you will be in the foreign mission field. So from here in the garden, I want to share with you the first thing that I'm realizing is probably one of the biggest causes of burnout in the mission field, and that is expectations. Expectations of how we will perform, of what it is that we'll accomplish, and what the results will be. And that can be like different for every person. It is different for every person. But whatever the case, when those expectations are high and then they're not met, that is a very difficult thing to go through, and often is something we don't even share with other people because we think, well, I guess I was just overthinking, but it does have an effect on us. Okay, so the reason why I said the garden is a really good illustration is because this bed here, this garden bed, is the very first garden bed I planted anything in our new garden, and pretty much all the greens got eaten or died or something. There's beets, are the only thing that's doing well in this section of this bed. So that was pretty disappointing, but thankfully that's not our entire garden. We have some other things that are actually doing really well, and that's really exciting. So maybe that's actually a tip. If you're feeling discouraged and getting burned out because some things didn't go as you expected, maybe focus more on what did go well instead of just focusing on what didn't go well. Okay, so this little bare spot of ground that I just showed you is actually a place where we used to have a banana tree. Actually, there were two. There was the original one that died, and there was a second one that came up from the same root clump, and it died mostly because I stepped on it. And there's things that happen like that in mission work that we really regret, things that we wish we could reverse, and the results you just can't change. But the reason I bring that up is because dwelling on those things and having unforgiveness of ourselves and just overwhelming remorse and not surrendering that to God is one of the greatest causes of burnout. I know for myself, a lot of times actually farther along in things, when it's like after you maybe even step away from the work, you've already been burned out and you step away from it and you just cause yourself more burnout because you have so much remorse over it. So that is another thing that can really eat us out from the inside. Okay, I'm going to try to cover some of these others a lot more quickly because we don't have all day. I know you don't have all day. But to just kind of put it briefly, some other things that have come to my mind is not delegating enough. That's something I really struggled with, was not delegating enough, not wanting to have to reap the consequences of somebody else not doing it how I wanted it, or maybe just not being willing to surrender my opinion. Because it's not like it would always be a disaster. But anyway, another thing is really just trying to meet the needs in and of yourself, looking to yourself to meet those needs instead of realizing that you can't meet all those needs and that ultimately it's only God. Another thing is feeling the guilt or kind of maybe blaming yourself for things that other people are actually the ones responsible for. Sometimes we think, well, I could have done such and such and it would have been different. The truth is, you do have to draw a line. There are things that are other people's responsibility, are other people's fault, and that's okay. That doesn't mean that we go, hounding them for what they did, but that just means that you don't carry the load of somebody else's mistakes, because you shouldn't. Okay, some other things are things like culture shock. Culture shock can really eat you away. You have no idea sometimes how much different things, like negative things, just thinking about the culture and the ways around you can really eat you out. Another thing is poor family relationships, and I say this very delicately because I know a lot of times, we're in very difficult situations, and it's not like you are the only one to blame for your marriage or for your family relationships, but if you take the time to really invest in those, as a lot of people have found, the stronger your marriage is, the stronger your family relationships are, the more that like charges you to be able to meet the struggles outside the home. So that's a really important one to remember. Another thing is, what about your health? How are you caring for your health? Are you getting the sleep that you need? You know, for a lot of people, I know for myself, I push myself really hard to do a lot of things. Because of that, I didn't get enough sleep. But sometimes it's not even doing things that we have to. It's doing things that we think we need to do. Or things that maybe we think will just give us a break, like getting on Facebook. Or maybe we're eating things with lots of sugar, things that we know we shouldn't be eating because it's a comfort food, when really what we need is sleep, and really what we need is time with God. So I just want to encourage you, that's another thing that can really be a struggle, I know, among a lot of us, but it can really wear you down. Like, health is delicate. You only have one body, and how you care for it is super impactful to the work that God has given you. Okay, and one last quick thing is just the expectations of other people. Like, we have no idea sometimes how much other people's expectations can impact us, but also we have no idea just how much we don't have to be governed by those expectations. Really, your work is between you and God. And yes, you may have leadership over you. I don't want to discredit that, but be careful, because you can't listen to everybody. You can never please everybody. And ultimately, there's one person we're trying to please in our work. So keep your eyes fixed on Jesus. That's really like the biggest thing I could say. This video is not about what to do for burnout. This is just trying to help you identify maybe different things in your life that maybe are causing burnout, or could cause burnout, or already have caused burnout. But the one thing I want to encourage you with today, friends, is keep your eyes on Jesus. And if you have friends who are out there who are maybe burned out or getting burned out, encourage them to keep their eyes on Jesus. God bless, friends. We'll see you next week here on Mission Viewfinder.